Hey, everybody. Welcome to another podcast. So we are here. We've been talking a lot about inspirations, and we were wanting to kind of just share with everyone a little bit about kind of our story. And I know that we spent, a couple podcasts on our moms and how inspiring they have been to us and our life, and really kind of getting us, I think, to where we are today, and a little bit about what our story is all about. But I remember, obviously raising kids, things start to get kind of crazy in life, right? When that happens. And I know we were on this push for living the American dream. I think we were kind of doing that back in the day when things were getting kind of super busy. And then there was that switch that kind of got us into this mode of service, maybe we call it, or of thinking and how our life is today, which obviously we're very happy with, right? I think. Are you happy with working with me?
Absolutely.
Maybe.
No, it has. It's been. We've had this little dream, I think, brewing for years, even when you and I, did have kids. And, we talked. If you haven't had a chance to listen, I would go back and listen to our interviews. We had a chance to interview each of our mothers and just share their stories and why they're such an inspiration to us. And then to help understand how we became who we are today. But like you said, then we ended up getting married and on our own little journey. And we did think there were some life events that really led us to have these aha moments that we talked about that made us realize, okay, maybe it's time to slow down and get off this hamster wheel.
Do you know how many running strollers we had? I know you're about ready to tell your story.
Yeah.
And I think we had 3 at one time, or maybe there was one with.
We had 3. You're right.
We did.
We had 2 singles and we had a
but
double.
We started breaking them, and that's why
and
we
then
got more.
We got a double
we
because
got
Jacob
the double.
and Lucy. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. And they would run together. So yes, we were
big runners.
Back in the day, I would say we both were pretty type A. I was probably a little more to the extreme.
You had me run 3 marathons.
Everything in life was 110%.
20 mini marathons, I think.
Yeah, probably. And
you're right.
So I, I think paint a picture. So we were raising 3 kids. We were both working really demanding jobs and trying to give it our all. And so we were really trying to be healthy and fit it all in. And like you said, try to achieve the American dream, right? And I think we were there, but we were like so exhausted and worn out and stressed and trying to figure out how to do it and stay healthy and eat right and exercise and all those things and be a good mom and dad. And I totally remember this is the story I was going to share, this stroller incident. I would work 4.5 days, so I got a half day off. And those half days, by the time you get out late, and then I had to go pick up the boys from school, Lucy was probably, 2 or 3. And so I'd have a couple hours. So I would always go home, get her, put her in the stroller, and that would be like a day for like a long, intense run. So, we'd be off running, and then we'd pack our duck food or bread or something. And we'd go along that river there in Muncie. And so I remembered this run, and she was like, here, duckies, here, Mommy, can we stop and feed the duckies? I was like, no, Lucy, we'll do it at the end. Remember, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to break this pace. I got to get my run in.
God forbid.
I was one of those that I would sprint to the end and give it, again, 110%. And so she kept going. She's like, please. She's like, please, Mommy. And then she'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, duckies. And it was interesting. All of a sudden, I had this view of myself and how crazy I was, just, going full force, running. I wasn't even enjoying this beautiful sunny afternoon. I had to be off with my daughter, feeding the ducks, enjoying a moment. I was always thinking ahead to the future and thinking about what I had to do next in my task at hand. And I don't know, there was just this aha moment. I was like, and I stopped and I took her out of the stroller and we sat down and we fed the ducks and we laughed and we played. I didn't even finish my run, which was so rare for me.
That is just not even right.
And we went home, and I don't know, from then on it was like, we have got to break the pace. And I think things had been leading up to it, as I think you're going to share with your father's illness. But honestly, like, that was such a big aha moment. And that became our theme, breaking the pace. And then it led into our future with our wellness center and breaking the pace and all that. So,
well, I remember we were running so much. And I think at the time it was just like, okay, well, this is just, because I mean, there was discomfort. I had chronic lower back pain. And it's like, well, it's just part of running, you know, part of being healthy. And I know I was doing a mission, some mission work over in Haiti. I think I went 20 times, took, I don't know how many hundreds of people over. And I remember doing, we were doing a hike with the priest, and he had to bring the cooler. And so I'm carrying the cooler on this hour hike to the top, which only had Coke and, you know, beer. It didn't have any, I don't think we had any water in it. And he goes, we must take, I go, Padre, we don't need to take. Anyway, we took it. And so the next day at Mass, I have this cramp in my neck, you know, and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And of course, I know a little bit about yoga. And so I started stretching it out. Well, I blew my neck out. And, herniated the disc. And 30 days later, I couldn't even do a push-up, right? This chest and arm was half the size of that one, and we decided to do surgery.
That's right.
And it was after the surgery that I couldn't do anything, that all my back pain went away. So, I mean, at that point, I was like, what are we doing? I mean, back to this break the pace thing.
Right.
It was like, okay, it's not about how much you can do or how fast you can do it. There's you're missing the boat there. And so I think, to your point, we were like, I know when we started a big part of this was, when we started Pathways to Wellness back in the day and breaking the pace. It was when Dad was passing in '06 of the prostate cancer and all this stuff, that he's like, hey, you guys need to start a wellness center with Linda, my mom. And that's when kind of that whole thing started. And we were it wasn't funny, but how it all kind of fell into place, that you could just tell it was working at a higher level. It wasn't just us saying, oh, I think we need to do this, or Dad saying that it was actually bringing these people together, these like-minded people, Mom, you, and myself, that truly believe in, these kinds of change, the body, mind, spirit change, obviously with yoga, which we're very, very passionate about, and seeing where that was going to go.
Well, and I think it was finding balance. That was one of when we sat down to come up with our tagline, balance, joy, and health, helping the others. And that really did become our mission at that time for our wellness center. We fell out of balance. I think that's what was going on, is that we were in our 20s and 30s so caught up in the next goals and the next achievements, and then just doing and doing and doing, instead of being present and living with intention and consciousness that we talk a lot about. And when we started tapping into it, I think when you did your yoga teacher training yourself, it was neat because, you were practicing with me, and we were doing,
right? I'd make you,
and you would do
practice.
Yoga classes with the kids and the family, and we started experiencing it. And when you have an experience where you can be present and really just find some peace and balance, and then you had us. I loved this. We went and did our own little overnight retreat.
Of course.
And
it was a ton of fun.
You had your spreadsheets and those Excel spreadsheets and some forms that we had to fill out and everything.
Pie charts.
And we came up with our own family mission statement and our goals. And fast forward, we used that a lot with our couples retreats and some of the things that we did, because it was so powerful for us to do that. And so that became, you're right, our tagline, and that became our whole mission, was to help others find balance, joy, and health. And that was when we started our yoga center in 2007.
I think one of the things too I'm very grateful for is was '06. I got my yoga teacher training because we knew we were starting the wellness center, and then Mom was like, okay, I got my certification through Nancy Schock, and that's where you need to go. So I got a hold of Nancy Schock, got into that training for the 200 hour, and then was lucky enough to be able to do my 500 hour with her, and then also my yoga therapy certification with her, which is a full 1,000 hours of training. And at the time, she was doing a lot of research with IU Health, and a lot of, they had some grants with NIH, and we were doing work, bedside work down at the cancer center. We were at the VA doing work with post-traumatic stress disorders. The RHI hospital, I think, was stroke. You and I have done research with chronic lower back pain, stress, anxiety, and to watch what you can do with the modalities of yoga to truly help to bring someone back to this homeostasis that we talk a lot, this place where they can start to really facilitate and accelerate their healing, and using it with this body, mind, spirit connection throughout the whole process. It was very, very powerful. And of course, we've integrated that into the Wellness Center from the get-go, right? And a lot of the workshops and different things. And obviously, we've done a study with the Foundation for Complex Healthcare Solutions with OPT2LIV and some of the 4 pillars. And so we continue to move through how this, the integration of yoga can definitely help people to realize this higher level of health and realization of living this highest quality of life possible. You'd like to say age gracefully, right? And now we're saying let's live to be 120, right? Which no one likes, but it's true. I mean, I think we have this opportunity to live much longer than what our parents lived, but we have to be intentional with it. And you used the word earlier, conscious. I mean, that's such a big part of what I think we're asking people to do, is to just let us help you be conscious of this mini scientist that you have the potential to do, and some of the things you do with your personalized plans. I mean, it's just amazing to watch you work with patients. I mean, it's very healing.
Well, and we weaved in, you talk about I think yoga was our entrance into really our own personal transformation, and then we weaved in evolving into these 4 pillars because obviously the breath and breathing, and that is the foundation for yoga. I think in America here we think yoga is more about the physical practice, but we know it's more than that. It really starts with that breath and the consciousness and the mindfulness, and then the eat and the move and the sleep. And so we really started weaving that into our own life, into our families' lives. We've used, I think this transformed the health of not just us, but our kids. And then you're right, now being able to share this in a manner that is different than I've ever done. When I came and had my own practice, it was different. It was more traditional when we first opened our wellness center. And I would weave this in when I could in the time frame that I had. But our medicine is really, it's more about diagnosing and treating a disease, right? Or a lot of people say a pill for every ill. And what we're doing is really a whole new look at what is health. Health is not just the absence of disease. Right? Health is more about
I love that
physical,
that you
mental,
just said.
Emotional.
It's not the absence of disease. And today our healthcare system is trying to just manage disease. And it goes it's so much bigger than that.
And so what is neat is us working together and you being able to coach people to have time to make these plans that we put together doable. We really personalize them.
I like to say fun and doable. Whenever I start with anyone, I was like, my job is just to make Amy's personalized plan, lifestyle personalized plan. I don't do the medicine stuff.
Right.
Fun and doable. I say that's how I started the first time.
That is good.
Right? I mean, that's all it is. Why can't you make it fun?
Well, and we lived it. We were trying to figure out how to eat right and exercise and lower our stress and still like raise our family and
You mean
do
you
good
don't
at
need
work
neck
and stuff.
surgery to find this solution?
You don't need to run yourself into the ground or be sleep deprived or stressed. And I mean, it was funny because I always thought like I ate really well, but I was totally eating all the wrong things for me, and I was doing the wrong exercise for me. My body is not meant for endurance and not recovering and pushing and pushing and pushing. And so I would end up with injuries, or I would end up sick, or my immune system would be stressed. And so I really discovered so much about myself being able to do some of the genetic testing, some of the blood work, gut health testing, food sensitivity testing, but also just listening to my body. So that's what we're taking our experience and just in our expertise, and I love it. I love this whole new journey that we're on. And
it is interesting when you look at how timing is with everything. Like we had this vision of starting this virtual, wellness center, right? Just right before the pandemic, right? So we had an infrastructure and we had all this stuff that was in place, and we continued to see people throughout the onset of the pandemic when everything was shutting down, and now everything's virtual.
That is so
It's
true.
just so funny.
Yeah, we already were.
So at least we're listening, God. I think we're moving in the right direction with all this stuff. But we truly are having a lot of fun with it all, I know.
Well, and we're seeing a lot of impact and getting a lot of testimonials with our patients on just the transformation.
Yeah, doctor, what kind of testimonials are you seeing? What are they?
It's amazing.
Right?
I mean, anything from, the medical end, seeing changes in their cholesterol or their blood sugar, or lowering medications, weaning off medications, sleep's improving, lowering
pain.
weight. Oh yes, pain and inflammation.
Pain always. We can always get rid of pain.
And I think a lot of mood issues. This has been a very stressful year, and as far as like just depression and anxiety, seeing people feeling more balanced naturally, not having to, sometimes we do the blend of the medications and supplements and lifestyle, but yeah, it's been great.
And I heard you brought on a phlebotomist, and how's this person doing?
We even have a phlebotomist
Amy
in the office
has
now.
me doing blood work. Oh my gosh.
We're in our new yoga space right now.
Yeah, this is awesome.
That is still being built out, but we have, patient rooms. We have a lab. We have our yoga studio.
Stay tuned for our open house.
That's
we
right.
think maybe the third weekend,
March, beginning of April.
So that's going to come
schedules.
soon. So we're excited about kind of sharing this with our buddies and the members that are on board with us. So So anyway, so thank you for your time today and kind of listening to what we have to do and share with you guys on why we're so excited to be here for each and every one of you. If you are watching this and you're not a member, go to OPT2LIV.com, OPT2LIV.com for more information and get a hold of us. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have or bring you on board with what we're so excited about, which is helping people to live the highest quality of life possible, age gracefully. So if any of that sounds right to you, let us know. We'd be more than happy to help you along the journey. So we are wishing each and every one of you a wonderful day. Take care. God bless.